back once again. Especially today I am doing the revision for the present 10th standard chemistry, 10th standard children, those who are approaching for the exam. Today's lesson is metal and non-metals. So we will see what is important in this lesson. So as I am explaining, you can keep your books open also. See this lesson and what all is important you can once again revise. Already we have discussed in our class also, referring the question papers and all. So please children, whatever is important, first you revise those questions. Then whatever you have not read, please go through that once again. Okay, you go through that also, because everything is important in science, maths, social. We don't know what type of question they will ask. So everything is important. Keep in mind everything, the important things, whatever is being discussed in the lesson, from the boxes, the questions, activity questions and all, what all are given, those questions are also very much important. Okay, so coming to metals and non-metals, the first thing is physical properties of metals and non-metals. This they may ask in the form of difference. What is the difference between metals and non-metals with reference to their physical property? That question is also given in your classwork. Please refer that type of question. What are their physical properties? That is in which state they occur. Mostly metals are solids. Non-metals are liquids and gases. Okay. Mostly metals are lustrous. Non-metals are non-lustrous. Metals are sonorous. Non-metals are non-sonorous. Metals have high melting and boiling point. Non-metals have low melting and boiling point. Metals are good conductors of electricity. Non-metals are poor conductor of electricity. So that was about the physical properties. Now the next thing, in this regard only, the difference between the chemical properties of metals and non-metals. Chemical properties of metals and non-metals. That is also important question. This question, chemical properties of metals and non-metals, they have asked frequently when compared to physical properties. What are the chemical properties? How the metals differ in chemical properties with that of non-metal? Okay, firstly, metals, they lose electrons and they become electropositive. Okay, metals lose electron when they are reacting, metals and non-metals when they are reacting, metals will lose electrons and they become electropositive. Non-metals will gain electrons and they become electronegative. So that is one difference. Metals react with hydrogen. Metals react with acids. Metal react with dilute acids to give hydrogen gas, whereas non-metals do not react with dilute acids. Instead, they react with hydrogen to form non-metallic hydrides. They form non-metallic hydrides. Metals react with dilute acids to produce hydrogen gas. Non-metals do not react with dilute acids. They do not liberate hydrogen gas. Instead, they react with hydrogen to form hydrides. That is one thing. Then, metals react with oxygen to form basic oxide, metal oxide, basic oxide. Non-metals react with oxygen to form non-metallic oxide, which are acidic in nature. Okay. So what is the third property? Metals react with oxygen to form metallic oxides, which are basic, which we say as metallic oxides. Non-metals react with oxygen to form non-metallic oxides, okay, which are acidic in nature. Okay, usually metals react with oxygen to form metal oxides. Metal oxide dissolve in water to form base. Non-metals react with oxygen to form non-metallic oxide, which are acidic in nature, which dissolve in water to form acids. Okay, so acidic oxides are formed by non-metals, basic oxides are formed by metals when they react with oxygen. So that is one of the most important question what they frequently ask regarding the properties of metals and non-metals, either physical property or the chemical property. That is the question here, the important one. The next we will see how the metals, about the amphoteric oxides. Okay, how metals react with air. Metals react with air. Metals react with oxygen present in the air. For example, magnesium burns in the presence of air, in the presence of oxygen to form magnesium oxide. Okay, iron, Fe plus H2O. Iron reacts with oxygen. Iron reacts with water vapor present in the air to form its oxide, Fe2O3. Or sodium reacts with oxygen present in the air, vigorously it reacts with the oxygen present in the air to form sodium oxide. Okay, Na2O. So most of the metals react with oxygen present in the air to form basic oxides or metallic oxide. One of the most important question in this again is the amphoteric oxides. What are amphoteric oxides? What are amphoteric oxides? Metallic oxides. You can refer the page number also. It is given in page number 41. Page number 41. That is also the most important question. What are amphoteric oxides? Amphoteric oxides are metal oxides which react with both base and acid. It reacts with both acid and a base to form salt and water. Aluminium oxide. You can see the equation here. Al2O3 plus 6HCl gives AlCl3 plus 3H2. Aluminium chloride is formed when it reacts with acid, and sodium aluminate is formed when aluminium oxide reacts with sodium hydroxide. That is page number 41. You can refer both the equations. That is about amphoteric nature of aluminium oxide. Al2O3 acts as amphoteric oxide, or they may ask what are amphoteric oxides? Okay. What are amphoteric oxides? Give example, write the equation. So this is one of the most important question. Many times they have asked about amphoteric oxide. The other examples of amphoteric oxide are zinc oxide. Okay. So that is the most important thing. And another thing is what here? Metals react with oxygen to form metallic oxide. Okay. And metals react with, for example, metals react with oxygen, okay, to form metallic oxide, Na2O. This metallic oxide is basic in nature. Further, it will dissolve in water. Metallic oxide dissolve in water to give bases, NaOH. Okay, NaOH. That is also you can see here. Aqua. Aqua means what? It is dissolved in water, which is present in the form of water. Okay, dissolved in water. Sodium dissolved in water, that is aqua. Okay, so that is the most, here in this lesson, almost all the chemical reactions are very, very important. Okay, most of the chemical reactions they have given here, they are very much important from the point of view of exam. We don't know which type of chemical reaction they will ask, in what form they will ask. So you have to go through all the chemical reaction line by line, how they are reacting, under what conditions they are reacting. Everything is very important here. And here page number 43 you can see, page number 43 you can see here the figure 3.3, action of steam on metal. Action of steam on metal. This diagram is very, very important from the point of view of exam. Please children, in science, whatever the diagrams I have told you, I have marked for you, please learn all those, practice all those diagrams properly. Diagrams are for 13 to 14 marks children. Again and again I am stressing, please don't leave any diagram. Whatever the diagrams are important in biology, chemistry, physics and chemistry, really they are the easy diagrams. They are not freehand drawings like heart, the kidney and all. You can use your scale, pencil and nicely you can draw the diagrams. Okay. So whatever the diagrams are important, please practice. With the diagrams alone and with some simple easy questions if you answer, like multiple choice questions, 1 mark questions and all, if you answer, easily you will get the passing marks children. I am telling you again and again. Please, science, one plus point is there in science, that is diagrams are there in your hand. If you do the diagrams properly, all the marks are with you. You will get surely the marks with proper labeling, A relevant diagram should be there. You cannot draw your own diagram how it is there in the textbook, like that only you should draw. Whatever the labels they are telling you to label it, the names they are telling you to label, you have to label those things only. If they did not mention anything, just draw the diagram of action of steam on metal. If they mention like that, you have to draw the full diagram and you have to mention all the apparatus what it is being given here. In biology diagram, sometimes they will tell you to draw and they will tell you to name only 2 or 3 names. They will tell you to label only 2 or 3 names. Do according to that question only. But if they did not mention, only if they have asked you to draw the diagram, you have to draw the diagram and you have to label all the names there. Okay, so this is the most important diagram, action of steam on metal. Please practice the diagrams properly. This is 2 marks or 3 mark question they may ask, because this is a big diagram of many apparatus. So that is the thing there. Okay. So here, now next we will see what happens when metals react with acid. That is also the important question. Metals react with acid. Next thing is metals react with acid to form salt and water. Salt and water. Zn plus H2SO4. Any metal, any acid. Okay, Zn plus H2SO4 gives ZnSO4 plus H2. Hydrogen gas is liberated. The only one exception, nitric acid does not react. Nitric acid does not react with the metals to give hydrogen gas. Okay, because nitric acid here it is acting like a oxidizing agent. If nitric acid reacts, if in case nitric acid is reacting with any metal, what happens if hydrogen gas is liberated also, that hydrogen get oxidized to water. So no hydrogen gas is liberated, nitric acid will not react with any metal. And the other acids like H2SO4, HCl, okay, that react with acids to give salt and water. They may ask question also like why nitric acid does not react with metals. See, hydrogen gas is not involved. You can see here page number 44 with in your book also I am showing you. Page number 44 in the second paragraph it is given hydrogen gas is not evolved when a metal reacts with nitric acid. It is because nitric acid is a strong oxidizing agent. It oxidizes the hydrogen gas liberated to water. Okay, reduced to water and itself get reduced to any of the nitrogen oxides N2O. But magnesium reacts with very dilute nitric acid to evolve hydrogen gas. One exception is what? Magnesium. Exception in metals is magnesium. It will react with dilute nitric acid to give hydrogen gas. Okay, so everything is important, children. You should know everything in science. We don't know what type of question paper they will set. Okay, what I am discussing here is, I am not saying read this only. I am saying here with reference to the 2 years question paper, these are the questions which were asked mostly in preparatory exam, midterm exam or in the last year's final exam. Okay, so these are important which you should not miss at all. Okay, I am not saying you read this only, other things you have to not learn. No, it is not like that. These are the important one. Okay, you can revise once again this important one and you see that you don't miss the other things also which is there in the textbook. Okay, so that is the important thing here. Okay, the diagrams. Now you can see here how do metals react with solution of other metals. That is also important here. How metals react with the solution of other metals. For example, what is that they have given in this thing? Iron react with the other metal, okay, which is in the solution form. Iron react with the other metal which is in the solution form. CuSO4 is a salt solution. It is a salt solution. Copper sulfate solution it is. You are mixing copper sulfate in water, forms a solution. How iron is reacting with copper? How metal react with other metal? This is the other metal which is in the solution form, mixed in water. So here what is happening? Displacement reaction is taking place here. Copper is less reactive than iron. Iron is more reactive than copper. So more reactive metal will displace less reactive metal from its solution. So what you will get? FeSO4 plus Cu. Cu, as Cu is least reactive metal, it gets displaced from its metal, okay, from its solution form, forming FeSO4 plus Cu. Here in the diagram you can see here pale blue solution is FeSO4, CuSO4 solution. Here after few hours you can see it has become somewhat the blue color has faded. Okay, it has become very pale, or sometimes if you leave for a longer time, what will happen? It will become green color solution, it will become. So that change in color from blue to green is what? Okay, blue color is copper sulfate. Changing to green color is ferrous sulfate. Ferrous sulfate is in the solution form now, displacing copper. The brown color deposit, the brown color powder or the particles which they deposit on the iron nail or at the bottom of the test tube is the copper. Copper ions are deposited. This is also important with the point of view of exam. They may ask from this also. About the reactivity series also you can see on the page number 45. Everything is important, children. I am revising everything what is important in this lesson because we don't know what type of question they will ask. So your thing is, first of all, what I said, science, when you are attempting the science exam, please concentrate more on the diagrams. Diagrams you practice properly, because 13 to 14 marks are allotted for diagrams. Another 15 or 20 marks if you write, or 25 marks if you write here and there. Okay, some questions and all 1 mark answers you will easily pass to them. And see that you are not leaving any question. You have to attempt all the questions. And the most important thing is, whatever the question you are answering, please mention the question number. Okay, you may be writing, you may feel easy, some questions you may feel very easy, I will finish this, you may think it is right, it is correct, you can do it. But what you have to do, you have to mention the correct question number. Okay, in the beginning only you may be attempting some 31st question, 32nd question. No doubt, you can attempt that question, you can write that question, whichever you feel easy you can write. Okay, but what you have to do, you have to mention the correct question number, because seeing the question number only they will be allotting the marks in the first page of your answer script. Okay, so for the evaluator, no, it will be very easy if you write the question number, seeing the question number, whatever marks is allotted for that question number, and seeing your answer only, they will be evaluating very quickly. Okay, don't forget to write your hall ticket number first, registration number first. Nowhere you can write your name. All these exam tips I have given you all in the classroom also. Okay, so now also I am telling you so that you will recall it, you will remember it, it will be useful for you in the exam. Okay, so first of all you should not forget writing your register number. Register number you should not overwrite also, you should not make any mistake also. Clearly see once, twice and write properly. Okay, from your hall ticket or from your bench also the number will be written. See that and write properly. If you by mistake, if you have overwritten or if you have made any mistake, you have to correct it and take the signature from the invigilator. Don't forget to take the signature from the invigilator. And the most important thing, don't leave any blanks here and there. You should not leave any blanks here and there. That will give a wrong impression, a bad impression on your answer paper. Seeing your answer without correcting also, no, the evaluator may think, he has left the gaps here and there, space he has given here and there, he is not a good student, not a bright student. Okay, so like that they may think, and they will not check also properly, and they may reduce your marks here and there if you write properly also. So don't give that impression in your paper. You fill your paper properly. Whatever comes to your mind, you just write relevant to that answer. At least half mark, 1 mark you may get. So, but you should not leave any gaps or spaces in the answer paper. So that is one thing. And writing correct question number is one other thing. And one more thing is writing your register number. Drawings always draw with the pencils. Label also do with the pencils only. Drawings you should not leave any drawing. Okay, drawing whatever they have asked, 4 to 5 diagrams or 6 diagrams, they will ask for 2 marks, 3 marks, 4 marks. They will ask. And in this year, one more question they have included. 5 marks question they have included in all the subjects. So see that somehow you write that answer, okay, because 5 marks means if you are not getting that relevant point also in that answer, something whatever you know you write, it will be like a long answer only, explanation type of answer only. So whatever, if you recall what I have explained related to that concept, no, you can write it if you remember it. Okay, so don't think that something we will write, evaluators, no, they will simply correct seeing the length of the answer. It is not going to happen like that. Every 2 evaluators will be correcting your paper. They will be checking your paper. So there is no chance of writing any bogus writing or anything at all. They will check properly your answer, and to your answer, relevant answer only, they will give you the points. So science and all now. What did I say? Whatever the answer you are writing, have the habit of underlining the important points. Important word, what is important in that, underline 2 words, in 2 words, in 3 words, whatever is the main key point. So they will see that key answer, key word they will see, and they will not read the whole answer also. Okay, if you underline, no, the important points. So for example, I said in biology also, when you are writing lengthy answers, explaining lengthy answers, some deficiency diseases are there. Okay, so what is the cause of that deficiency? What are the symptoms? Some 2-3 symptoms you underline. What is the cause? It will be there some 2-3 words. Okay, whether it is hypersecretion of hormones or hyposecretion of hormones, less hormones are secreted, more hormones are secreted, underline which hormone that is. And symptoms you underline, 3-4 words you underline, and how to prevent that also you can underline whatever the important 2-3 words are there. So that will give, no, those are the catchy words. They want those words only in the answer. If those words are there, if those points are there, no, this is there, we don't want anything to listen on. It is correct, they will see those points only and they will correct your answer, and you will get a full mark. So have the habit of underlining, whether it is science or whether it is social also, events, causes, main cause, okay, the names of the kings and all, their duration of period, whatever it is, the duration of their rule or whatever it is, the causes, the failures, the important cause, the important things why they failed. Okay, so that and all if you mark, no, so no need of going through the whole this thing, what to say, answer, because science, social and all, you have very lengthy answers and all. So in social also you can apply this, marking the important things, and you can proceed. So it will be very easy for the evaluator also, and these are the points what we need, they will think and they will see those points and they will correct and give you the full marks. Okay, so the next here you can see page number 46. How do metals and non-metals react with each other? The example they have given here, sodium and chlorine, how they are reacting. Okay, sodium and chlorine, how they are reacting. Sodium is a metal. It is electropositive. How? Why it is electropositive? Because metals have the tendency to give electrons. They give electrons to the non-metals and they become electropositive. Okay, and non-metals here, chlorine has a tendency to take electrons. Plus chlorine plus E they have given there. Plus E means what? They have the tendency to take the electrons. When they take the electrons, they become electronegative. So positive and negative attract each other with the strong electrostatic force of attraction, and that is what the bond is formed between metal and a non-metal. So here in this thing, electron dot formula is very important here. Electron dot formula, you can see how they have represented in the page number 47. That is being discussed here. Here you can see the magnesium and chlorine. This is also very important, children. Any type of dot formula they may ask you. Another dot formula is there in carbon compounds. From that lesson also they may ask, and from this lesson also they may ask you to do any kind of dot formula. How the reaction takes place between metals and non-metals, represent it with the electron dot formula they may ask you. So you please revise these things. It is important. Okay, so the properties of ionic compounds also they had asked. Once they had asked what are the properties of ionic compounds. What are ionic compounds? Ionic compounds are the compounds which are formed by the transfer of electrons. For example, metals and non-metals, they react with each other by transferring the electrons. Magnesium chloride, sodium chloride, all the salts are formed by ionic bond. So which are the properties you can see here? Solubility, physical nature, usually they are solid, hard, crystalline. Melting and boiling point, you can see they have high melting and boiling point. Solubility, they dissolve in water. Conduction of electricity, they conduct electricity in fused state or in aqueous state. So that are the properties of the metals and the non-metals. So that was the electron dot for about the ionic compound. That is also very much important. Coming to the extracting of metals. Here we see in this page number 51 the difference between calcination and roasting. Some 2 points you write the difference between calcination and roasting. You will get full 2 marks. Okay. Calcination is presence of water. Calcination is the heating of the oxide strongly in the presence of excess of air. This process is known as roasting. Roasting in the presence of air. Air should be there. Here absence of air. This and all I have given you children in your classwork. You go through, revise it once again. Okay, which are the ores which are subjected for calcination? Which are the ores which are subjected to roasting and all? That 2-3 points you mention the difference, the full marks you will get. That is the important thing here. What we see here, calcination and roasting. Okay, for roasting we use sulfide ores. For calcination we use carbonate ores. That also one difference you can write. And coming to next year, here we have another diagram. Okay, here we have another diagram. Refining of metals, electrolytic refining of copper. You can see here. This diagram is also very important. Explanation they have not asked, but you learn the diagram properly. If you skip the explanation also no problem, because they have not asked till now. I hope so they will not ask. But once you go through, if you see the diagram only, you will come to know you can write the explanation also. Okay. So diagram is very important children, a very simple easy diagram with all the labels and all. If you correctly label the scientific diagrams, then only you get the correct marks. Otherwise, if your labels are not proper, you will lose your marks. Full marks will not be given to any diagram which is not labeled properly. So this is the another diagram what you have seen here. Next is the corrosion. Okay, corrosion is the what do you mean by corrosion? Metals will corrode. Okay, how metals will corrode? What is the process of what is corrosion? Corrosion is nothing but metals will lose their quality, their texture, their shine, their properties when they are attacked by air, moisture or acids. Okay, when metals are attacked by, when they react with air, moisture, water or acids and all, they get corroded. They lose their property, their shine, their smoothness, their luster or their some of the chemical properties, their color and all they will lose. That is known as corrosion. So here you can see silver articles how they will corrode. So copper articles, iron will rust and iron will rust. When it is corroded, we say rust is formed. Copper, it will become greenish in color because of the formation of copper oxide. Silver articles, it will become grey in color due to the formation of silver sulfide. So this is also very important. You have to go through it. How to prevent corrosion, they may ask. Okay, applying oil, applying paint, galvanizing. These are the different processes here. Or alloying. Alloying is what? Mixing of metals. Alloy is a homogeneous mixture of two metals or metal and a non-metal. Okay, so when you make the alloy, you are preventing the metal from corrosion. Other things are what? By painting, by galvanizing. Galvanizing is what? Galvanizing is nothing but giving a coat of zinc over the metal. Zinc will never rust. Zinc will not corrode. So that zinc, if you are coating on the other metal which is corroding, then zinc will prevent the rusting of the other metals or the corrosion of the other metals. So that was the thing in corrosion here. Here you can see so many examples of metals are given. Alloys are given here. Any alloy in which mercury is there, it is known as amalgam. Brass, an alloy of copper and zinc. Bronze, alloy of copper and tin are not good conductors of electricity, whereas copper is used for making electric circuits. Solder, an alloy of lead and tin has a low melting point and is used for bending electrical wires. So everything is important children from the point of view of exam, you should not leave any point from the textbook. You go through the textbook, you go through the notes, whatever the notes are given, revise that notes once again. Particularly chemistry, chemical reactions, more marks are allotted. Don't miss any of the chemical reaction, any of the point, any of the questions which are asked additionally from the lesson, apart from the textbook. Those questions also they will ask. Apart from that also they may ask some application based questions also. So you should be ready to face any type of question. The most important plus point in science is your diagrams. You practice all the diagrams, be thorough in all the diagrams, then it will be very easy for you to write the paper. So that is my humble request to you. Don't leave any of the questions. Write properly. Whatever you know, don't get tense, don't get nervous, nothing will happen. Okay, everything will go on smoothly. You don't think that exam is conducted very late, what will happen, how they will correct this, that and all. Don't take any tension to that. Everything is going to happen as usual only. Whatever is your part, you prepare. Your part is to study and revise everything from the beginning. Science, social, particularly I am saying, we cannot rely on this question only. This I am revising because these are the frequently asked question. If you don't have time to revise the whole lesson also, you can revise these points what I have said. Don't miss these points. Okay. My thing is what to say here, don't miss, because who knows, they may ask this question. Some 30%, 25% questions may come what we have revised already. So the thing is, for that sake only we are revising you. Please children, watch our videos from now onwards till your exam. We will be giving you revision from each lesson for all the subjects. Please don't miss our videos. Okay, whatever is really helpful to you, we are showing you. Please cooperate with us. Sit at home, listen to the videos, go through the textbooks as we are teaching. Keep the textbook classwork with you. Mark everything whatever we are saying and learn according to that. Really it will be very helpful to you. If till now if you have not studied also, now also it is the time, some 10 to 12 days are there. You take your books and be with us. Watch the videos and all. Take your notes and sit and study. So I wish all the best for your exam. Again tomorrow I will meet you with the other lesson in science also. Okay, in English also few grammar I will be discussing about the essay writing, about this thing, what to say, letter writing and all, how to write. Once again I will tell you the format of letter writing and all. Hindi is very easy as you know. Okay, you have to revise everything in Hindi. No need of saying, already have given you the revision questions. Again one more class I will take in Hindi. What are really important I will tell you. Okay, I will meet you in the next class. Till then, goodbye children. Thank you very much.